Hello, I'm Alex, and in this presentation I'll walk you through a couple of trade examples using the Delta Widget indicator. I originally developed this tool for my own trading and decided to share it with the cTrader community because it fills a real gap in price flow solutions and gave me a genuine edge in my decision making. And I believe it can do the same for traders who read the markets through price flow and want a deeper understanding of the power driving each move. In short, the indicator watches the live tick stream across multiple time frames, compares which way price is moving against which way the order flow is leaning, flagging the moments when the two disagree, often an early sign of a turn. Because symbols available through cTrader platform does not show real traded volumes, the flow is reconstructed directly from tick movement, and even so, this approach has proven to deliver a real edge in live trading, which is what sets it apart from the generic solutions out there. For the full details of how this tool works, please refer to the product page description to make sure it aligns with your expectations. That's it for the intro. Let's jump straight into the trade examples. This is a replay on gold, using the 5-minute time frame. We start watching the price a couple of minutes before the London session open. So far, we can see that during the overnight session, there was a strong price run to the upside. After this move, price retraced, and we now want to see whether the buyers will resume, and what will happen if price will test the recent high. Our goal is to see whether the local price levels, the panel readings, and the histograms provided by this Delta Widget indicator can give us a better insight into the buying versus selling pressure, and how this can be framed on top of the price action alone. That is, beyond simply watching the chart as price develops. With this in mind, we will try to frame a trade idea, build a plan, and decide whether to act on it if price develops accordingly. So far, we can see that buying has resumed. The bars are colored green. The histograms also point to buying pressure, and the local high tied to this current move has already been breached. However, there is one important hint. The histograms for the current buying pressure are much smaller compared to the run that happened a couple of hours ago. As time passes, we can observe a small burst of selling pressure detected right after the session open. Price is still quite far from the high of the day, so we continue to wait for the test of that level. Buying pressure has now resumed, and the real test begins as the level is finally reached. Throughout this process, we keep noticing that the histograms remain small while price pushes beyond each newly formed local extreme. Every attempt also points to divergences, and the panel readings signal a change in pressure as the time slots start populating with sell-biased values. Around this point, the buying pressure shown in the histograms increasingly suggests exhausted buyers, as each new sequence gets smaller and smaller with every attempt. Once we get the new local high and price is immediately rejected, together with the change in power indicated by the signal marker and the shift in the histograms, we can now reasonably assume that price will continue to the downside. The panel readings keep printing sell-biased values, and we can now expect new tests of the recent support levels. Based on this example, it is worth mentioning that the values displayed in the panel only carry meaning when put in context with price action around important levels, as they represent raw calculated buy and sell pressure aligned with their corresponding time slots. The histograms will also guide us and help frame a trade idea when compared against prior price action. If we kept observing the price for the rest of the day, we would see further selling pressure indicated and price moving considerably lower. Here we are watching gold again on the 5-minute time frame, at around the same time of day, close to the London session open. In this example, price has been moving lower since the beginning of the day, and the prior histogram readings clearly show strong selling pressure. There is no need to frame any idea or act at this point. We can simply wait and observe what develops over the next hours. As more time passes, new local lows are detected. Price keeps breaching those levels, and the histograms continue to show an overall sell-biased pressure. Things start to take a different turn when we get this change in pressure indicated by these strong green histograms. We consider them strong because we are comparing them against the last red histogram sequences. We also take note that price did not actually breach the most recent low, which also points to a divergence. If we are now thinking that this could be the lowest point and that price may reverse from this zone, we need to observe what the panel points us to. Around this moment, the readings switch to the buy side. The ones related to the higher time frames flipped and remained bullish, the faster time frames are now changing as well, and the pressure meter is showing a net buying pressure. There is also a new buy signal. No red histograms are visible after the last green sequence, and just now a new green sequence has started to develop with consistent and consecutive higher levels. This can be qualified as a good entry level for a long trade. Here we observe that the most recent local high got tested, price moved aggressively beyond it, and all the readings are currently pointing to aggressive buying pressure. If we had taken this trade, we should now keep the position running and watch what happens as new local points are detected. The current readings continue to show clear, strong buying pressure. In this last example, we will watch the DAX on the 1-minute time frame, just before the Frankfurt opening hours. As in the previous examples, we will first build some context based on prior price action and then use the indicator to frame a potential trade idea. Price is currently moving lower. In the same spirit as before, we will simply watch the price and wait for clear signs of a notable change before deciding to frame any trade idea. Unless we can get a clear view of the price action, there is no point in acting on the panel readings, signals, or histograms produced by this indicator. The value of such trades would be no better than flipping a coin. As the replay progresses, we reach the session open. With the earlier notes in the back of our mind, we can see that price reversed aggressively when the session opened. This is a fairly usual behavior for the DAX or any other index, as they tend to get a surge in volume around the session open. In this particular example, we notice that price continues to print higher levels after the open. The panel readings and the histograms keep showing clear indications of buying pressure, so we can start thinking about potentially higher prices being reached later in the day. Here we could frame a couple of long trades with a trend continuation idea in these areas, and then manage the positions based on the new indicator readings. Alternatively, we could decide to enter much later in the day, around the time of this break of the local resistance levels, based on the fact that we continued to observe strong and consistent buy-side readings in the pressure meter. The recent histograms show the presence of net buying pressure when we compare the green versus the red sequences. The trigger can be considered the moment when the recent local low, printed during the red sequence, did not get breached and price moved to the upside immediately after this event. I hope this presentation gave you a clear insight into how to interpret and use this indicator. More details about the Delta Widget indicator can be found in the product description and in the gallery images. The complete user guide is provided on request after the purchase. And if anything still feels unclear after going through it, I'm happy to jump on a Google Meet with screen sharing and walk through the indicator in detail with you. No extra charge, it's included in the purchase price on request. Thank you for watching, and if you found this interesting, feel free to explore the rest of the tools I currently have published on the cTrader store. There you will find personally developed solutions, tested and optimized around my own trading needs. The trend systems and the Trade Manager CBOT can also be used together with this Delta Widget indicator, allowing you to build your own complete trading and execution system around your trading style. See you in the next one. Bye.